You gave a brief idea as to the concept of science. I didn't happen to hear you mention the tenet that something that's a part of the concept of science must be falsifiable. Do you agree?
Yeah, that's Karl Popper. I've never understood that. It made no sense to me. I studied Popper in philosophy seminar rooms, and the natural question is, why does it have to be falsifiable? Most of science isn't.
So you agree with Michael Behe that we should expand the definition of science to include
it makes no
logical
difference.
inferences?
It's not a word with distinct meaning. It's simply too vague a term to carry any cognitive content. And it's like so many of the other terms in the discussion, you will find people saying, well, science deals only with natural causes. Sounds great. Science deals with natural causes, like a 1950s Swedish nudist documentary. All natural. You don't get more natural than natural.
If you start allowing in concepts into science that are not falsifiable, not only will you allow in the things that you wish to allow in, such as intelligent design, you also allow in something that, I'm sure most of you would be opposed to, like psychic powers and homeopathy, things that are not falsifiable. It cannot become a tenet of science. Science cannot function when something is not testable.
So?
How does science operate? If you allow in something that is not testable, you completely cripple the institution of science.
I'm not suggesting we allow into the institution of science the inadmissible. I am saying I don't know where to draw the line between the admissible.
That is the line. If it's not falsifiable, that is the line. If it cannot be falsified, if you cannot test it, that is one line of demarcation. Obviously, the line of demarcation is very broad, but that is one boundary of the line.
As soon as you say that it's very broad, you let in everything controversial. Look, a religious figure will come to you and say, you're right. Falsifiability is pretty crucial, and my theories are falsifiable. They're falsified by the experiences and the religious sentiments of mankind. If they weren't true, there wouldn't be those religious sentiments of mankind. But that is not to say they're right. It's to say you've let in too much.
The religious sentiments of mankind are arguments from authority. By their very nature, they're not falsifiable. You can't have two conflicting arguments of authority. They're not going to jive. You cannot, an argument of authority can never defeat an argument of authority.
You have it all the time within the sciences, two conflicting arguments from authority. Niels Bohr said one thing about the quantum world. Einstein said another thing. 70, 100 years later, these issues are not resolved. They're certainly not open to falsifiability in any simple-minded sense, because falsifiability is simply too simple a concept to treat of the delicacy and interconnectedness, the reticulation of a scientific theory. The face that meets experience is infinitely far away. It's infinitely far away from the theoretical assumptions of the sciences.
I don't want to take up too much time, but just for the record, you do agree that non-falsifiable claims should be allowed into science?
I beg your pardon?
I said you do agree that untestable claims should be allowed into the realm of science.
I believe that it makes no sense to try to find a line between science and any other area of intellectual experience. After all, mathematics is not falsifiable at all.
What's not falsifiable?
Mathematics.
Then mathematics, you can't really compare mathematics to science. Mathematics are defined...
I just did.